Hello and welcome to the channel. So this is my first, or will be my first video that I'll be uploading to my channel. A brand new channel that I've titled Convictions He Explained. And so my thought process behind that is I often hear about criminal convictions that come out that I have questions about. So I'm sure those who don't have a criminal justice background or a legal background also have questions about the convictions that come out. And this case that I'll be talking about today was brought to me by Fox 26 Houston. And by brought to me, seeing this video on YouTube, and the title immediately caught my attention. As it stated, prosecutors advocate castration for rapists in Louisiana. And so a man in Louisiana was sentenced to 50 years for charges that he received out of Louisiana that were pertaining to rape, and I believe it was about 4 counts. And so immediately I thought, wait a minute, castration, what's this gonna be about? Now, my background is in criminal justice. I have a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies with a concentration in criminology. And I worked 6 years as a probation and parole officer, where my primary role was enforcing sentences through the courts. And so I have the goal in mind to have this channel explain what the actual sentence mean and or the special conditions from the sentence and what they mean. And so this Louisiana man has accepted a plea deal with the state of Louisiana to receive 50 years in prison with the added condition, which I'm assuming would be a special condition, that he be physically castrated. And immediate thought was, for those charges, that is appropriate for someone who can't control themselves. But I wanted to know more about it. So in looking into Louisiana law, I found that essentially, as the Fox 26 news host put it, they will be cutting this man's balls off.
Ordered that his balls be removed.
And the science behind that is that it will control the hormones, i.e. testosterone, that this man has. And the thought process behind that in his castration will lower, essentially a way to put it is lower his libido. Like he won't have those urges, those same thoughts that he would normally have with his testicles or his balls. And there's probably a hope in this that greatly reduces the risk of him reoffending or having strong urges for sex or having strong sexual urges. But in doing my research, I learned that there isn't how do I put it? The sentence and the condition isn't exactly what I thought it would be. So there's a 2008 law out of Louisiana that says that his castration won't be completed until the last week of the 50-year sentence. And so I'm immediately thinking, well, what is now the goal or purpose of doing this? I want to see the complete sentence. I wish I had access to it. I don't at this time, but I'm wondering, will he have to undergo any other conditions that will aid in the goal of this plea deal while serving those 50 years? And as a former probation and parole officer, let me preface that, a former probation and parole officer, I have heard of chemical castration, where a person will be ordered to take prescription drugs that has the same goal and effect in mind, that it lowers the testosterone and reduces the urges that the person would have, the sexual urges that the person would have. And this person continuously has to take those prescription drugs to keep those urges at bay. And that and a person that has been sentenced to chemical castration would more than likely be doing that during their sentence, I believe while incarcerated, depending on the state law and depending on the conditions of the sentence. And then when they're released out on probation and parole, the parole board has the authority to add the chemical castration into the sentence. And if it's a part of the original sentence, once the person is released out on probation, if they are released out on probation, there's a likelihood that they'll have that same condition on their sentence. And so the difference between the two here is this gentleman will face the castration at the end, pretty much the end of the 50-year mark, and if there are no other conditions in the sentence to keep his urges at bay, in comparison to someone who has been sentenced to chemical castration, I'm wondering, is the thought process behind this defendant accepting this plea deal was that he kind of gets off or has a better result in comparison to someone sentenced to chemical castration. And 50 years from the date of this sentence, of course, this man, when you see his photo and you learn more about this man, he is up in age. So at that 50-year mark, he'll essentially have no use at that point for his testicles, or you would think that someone in that age range would not have a use for it. But I could be wrong. But I'm wondering, was that his thought process of, hey, I'm getting off better in knowing the true result of that special condition? And so I just thought this would be a great video for me to cover. Please like, subscribe to the channel. I plan on doing more videos in regards to criminal convictions that come out and covering cases to where not only myself, but you, the viewers, could learn from having these conditions or the actual conviction itself explained further than what most of the news articles would release, or just, having more knowledge than the usual person does in regards to criminal convictions if they don't have a criminal justice background or a legal background. And so once again, thank you for viewing. Please like, subscribe, comment, send other videos that you think that I should cover and that people would have questions about. And to cover the elephant in the room, I know some may be wondering, okay, well, this guy just kind of talked through a whole video, didn't show his face. I'm at a point to where I'm not 100% sure I want to have whether or not I want to have a faceless channel or I want to show my face. And so either as I build confidence in doing these videos and covering these convictions, I'll make that decision to ultimately show my face. Or, if no one has a problem with it, if things are still going well, I may just, kind of voice over, because as I'm not the star of the goal and purpose of the channel, it's the person that's been convicted, and the goal is just explaining more than what meets the eye. And so once again, thank you for viewing, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.